Hey guys, what's going on? Today I'm going to be doing a review of the Mephisto V2. I'm also going to be comparing the upgrades that it has from the original V1. So let's get started. So right off the bat you can see that the V2 is quite a bit larger than the V1. It's a little more stylized. It has the cursive writing on here, which I really like compared to just the standard block letters. Some decorative etching up in here versus just none. And on the top here you have the heat sinks versus on here you do not have any. The top of this cap has a Teflon insulator versus this older Delrin style one. This bottom guy down here we'll touch on in just a minute. As far as capacity of the chamber, you can see that the V2 is actually a little bit larger as well. So first impressions of the deck, as you can see the posts look very similar, but the juice wells are substantially different in size. This guy is about 5 or 6 millimeters. This one is like 3 or 4. This holds a lot more juice. This old V1 style had the negative post welded, spot welded, with only 1 point per negative post onto the deck here. Where this one now has the negative post milled into the deck. So as far as conductivity on the negative side, it's awesome. The height of the posts on the V2 are much taller than the original V1, and what this actually lends to is more advanced wicking techniques that you can use on this guy. Those wicks that bridge up and over, I'll show those to you in a minute. They actually expose more of the coil for air pressure. It creates much more vapor. Peak insulator on the center post, and of course you have the huge screw posts and this huge whatever they call post holes. Yeah. So what I have here is a 7/64 drill bit, and this guy slides in. There is so much play in these post holes. It's almost too much. But then again, so were the V1s. It takes a little bit of getting used to coil in something this large, because what ends up happening is, if I were to get some wire right here, and you can see this is 24 gauge and it just floats in there. You don't even see it. And so what I end up doing on my builds when I thread it through is I'll bend it, and you have to sort of position it right underneath that screw post, because if you don't, when it'll climb up the side and it gets messy. Now these are large enough you can actually thumb screw them, which is kind of nice, but I always use a screwdriver. The bottom of this guy here is what I'm really happy about. I was fortunate enough to have some input and help with some ideas on this V2. The Delrin insulator down here is it's an air bridge, and it acts like a crown. Can you guys see that, how it's raised up a little bit there? And so what ends up happening is it raises the bottom of this deck, the metal, off of your mod, and separates it with this layer of Delrin and air, and it keeps a lot of the ambient heat transfer from going from your deck down into your mod. The only contact point is that center post on the positive 510. Now the 510 is much better than the original. It seems a bit more well thought out. I think it feels a little longer, although it could be wrong. But the 510 screw fits in there nice and snug. Always sticks out. I haven't experienced one of these yet where the 510 has been recessed into the 510 connection, which I kind of see on a lot of RDAs these days. So that's good to see. Top caps. This guy is kind of tall. Slides off really easily, O-ring under there. Now you have these huge, I think it's what, 3mm by 9mm, 2.5 by 9 air holes. So you have one there, and one there, right? This guy, the AFC itself, you have 3 holes. You have a left and a right for your dual coil, and you have this guy for your center if you want to just do a single. This adjusts pretty easily. You slide it on and you turn it. Right below the main air hole, you have these 3 flavor holes. And what these guys are for, it's for upward movement of your air. So when the air is coming in, it's actually coming in and rising up against the bottom of your coil, and that lends to a stronger flavor. The overall workmanship on this guy is pretty good. I haven't found any issues so far with the actual CNCing or milling or anything like that. There's been a few issues with the O-rings being a little inconsistent, this guy up here and this guy down here, but at the same time they're O-rings. They're cheap, you can get them anywhere, and so hopefully that wouldn't be an issue. The deck is fairly clean. It doesn't smell like machining oil. I know there's another reviewer out there that had a big gripe about how clean his was, but what he failed to mention was that was a pre-production model, so kind of goes out the window. Anyhow, so this is my personal unit setup. Mephisto up here has a dual parallel 3-wrap of G-Plat 24 standard on a 1/8, and this guy, it cooks. And what it's sitting on is the El Diablo mod, which is, it's awesome, you guys. When I got these, when Gilbert was telling me about these mods, I wasn't too stoked. I was like, well, you know, let's see how it goes. I really like the Addy. I'm not going to be a big fanboy here, so I'm not going to start gushing over this mod until I see it. And so he sent me this guy, and this is awesome. The switch design on these mods is very nice. It has a unique Delrin button on the bottom, keeps the hot button from really popping out if you actually get a hot button. Silver plated, all copper. This guy unscrews. Comes out. And that's all. It's really bare bones. This spring I was a little concerned about. I thought it was going to collapse, but I've been banging on this thing hard with a .05 and it's been a rock star, so whatever. I would say this in here and this along here and the shaft and this ring here, you do want to keep very clean because the tolerances on this guy are tight, and so if they start getting dirty, it makes your button a little sticky, so you just want to keep that one on the back and clean it up as much as you can. The 510 connection is also a really simple design. It's just a floating silver pin in Delrin, and it has an adjustable screw in here for battery rattle. This tube is nice and thick, lots of copper, lends to a lot of conductivity. Pretty good. Now I will say this because it's kind of been an issue for some people, not for me. This is not a permanent finish. This is a finish, it feels sort of almost like nail polish. And when I say not a permanent finish, I mean it's not etched into the copper. This is laser printed and then sealed. This guy won't patina on your hands because you're not contacting the metal at all. But what you do see here, see this guy? It starts to wear off. Now this mod is actually the prototype. This isn't the production model. The production model has these slits up here and they make it look really good. And if I tried, I don't want to do this again, I did it once by accident. You can sort of scrape it off a little bit, some of that finish. It feels like a clear engine enamel. If you can, that's the best thing to describe it as. So it does chip, it does wear off. But, you know, as far as this part goes, the tube, this has been a rock star. This has been dropped, it's been rolled around in my pocket with keys, and it has not really chipped up. There's been a few scratches, but it doesn't flake off afterwards. It adheres to the copper really, really well. That's the price you pay when you want graphics like this on a metal device. It's, you know, it's not going to be there forever. Cool side note, Vapergate is going to be getting an exclusive custom line of these El Diablo mods, and they look like this. Now, on the writing, the Vapergate in the R is actually going to be shifted over a little bit to the right and didn't line up quite too well in like these protos. But that has been fixed, so yay. How does it vape? Rad. I like it. I think it's badass. This combination together, it kills it. It produces cloud, it produces flavor. Right now, I got that parallel build in here. It's 0.06, and it's fast. Real quick. So let me just hit it a few times for you guys. I'm going to open this up to that setting right there. Can you see 2 air holes on the bottom? So it's like 3/4 of the way open. There we go. It's a hot build. Needs a lot of juice. I wish I had a bigger room. These clouds are big. Alright, check it out. One thing I was talking about earlier was the wicking on this, and so you can see how high it is off of the deck, which is kind of substantial. What happens here is, this is your coil. You want as much of it exposed to air as possible. If you have some part of it, like the bottom or the back, touching the wick, that's not going to produce vapor, just the part that's exposed is. So by having sort of like a bridge wick like that, you have all this area that's coming in with your airflow, and all of that is producing the vapor. You can see how freely it produces it too. It's good. So how would I rate this? This is rad. I get it. It's not because I carry them too, and it's not because I helped out with it. It's a good RDA. There's not too much more that I would have done to this. Oh yeah, it comes in black, gold, copper, and there's a stainless steel one that I just don't have. So, Mephisto V2 and El Diablo mod. Great combination. That's it, guys. Check them out if you can. Vape on it. Enjoy it. You'll be thoroughly happy.